Did you know that our 39th president might be remembered for his achievements after his presidency? Jimmy Carter's childhood was tough, but he was still able to get a good education. After ending his job as a U.S. Navy officer, Jimmy went into politics and was elected for both the Georgia State Senator and the Georgia State Governor. He was a hard-working president and always tried to overcome any problem. Jimmy Carter was the nation's best president ever. Jimmy Carter had a tough childhood as a farm boy. Jimmy was born on October 1st in 1924 in Plains, Georgia. His family had a low-class farm life. They farmed different vegetables, but they mostly farmed peanuts. He had many friends in his childhood, and some were even black. He was one of the smallest kids in his age group. He had to live with 5 different people, including his parents. His parents were James Earl Carter first and Lillian Gordy Carter. Jimmy's mother, also known as Miss Lillian, was a farmer and a nurse. His father gave him the nickname Hot Shot growing up. He had 2 sisters and 1 brother, named Gloria Ruth and William Alton. Jimmy had many chores on the family farm. As a farm boy, some of his jobs were to chop firewood. He drew water from the well for his family. He planted and plowed crops, and he hoed and harvested crops for the family. Even though he was a farm boy, he managed to get a good education. As a child, he attended Plains Elementary School. The school combined elementary and high school together. Including him, 300 students attended the Big Brick School. The school had no electricity, and until 7th grade, Jimmy went to school barefoot. On the playground, he enjoyed playing marbles, spinning tops, pitching horseshoes, and playing baseball. In high school, he was on the basketball team. Jimmy's basketball team nicknamed him Pee-wee. After high school, he joined the Naval Academy. Jimmy had a few jobs before he became president of the United States. The first job he had was as a U.S. Navy officer. He had to go through many years of training before he was accepted. His second job was as Georgia State Senator. As Georgia Senator, he spoke about creating a new and more forward-looking Georgia. He also passed a bill on election reform. His last job before becoming president was as Georgia's governor. As Georgia's governor, he promised the people that he returned control of schools and local authorities. Here are some facts about his family. He met his future wife, Rosaline Smith, from his sister. Eleanor was born on August 18th, 27. Her and Jimmy got married on July 7th in 1947 in Norfolk. Their firstborn son was named John William Carter. John had a family nickname as Jack. John was born on July 1974 in Norfolk. Their second-born son's name was James Earl Carter III. His family nickname was Chip. Chip was born in 1950. Their last son, but their third child, was Donald Jeffrey Carter. His nickname comes from his middle name, but shortened, Jeff. Jeff was born in 1952. Their last child and only girl was Amy Lynn Carter. Out of all 4 children, Amy is the only one without a nickname. She was born in 1967. Neither his campaign nor his election were any easy, but after all that, the only thing easy was his inauguration. Jimmy was in the Democratic Political Party. For his running mate, he chose Frederick Walter Mondale. His opponent was the former President Gerald R. Ford. The election was very close. The popular votes that Carter got were 40.8 million. He won an overall popular votes. In electoral votes, he got 297. Carter just barely defeats Gerald Ford. Jimmy's inauguration was on January 20th, 1977. It was held on the east side portico of the Capitol. After all that, he was finally titled the 39th president. Jimmy had some big accomplishments, one big scandal that cost him, and one failure. One of his accomplishments he made was that he established a new Department of Energy. He also completed a new negotiation to free U.S. hostages in Iran. The one big scandal that Jimmy had was called the Lance Affair. Jimmy's friend Burt Lance was under investigation for trying to get a huge loan from Chicago's bank. At first, Carter tried to defend Burt. Carter finally asked Lance to resign. After his first term, Jimmy tried to be elected again, but was beaten by Ronald Reagan. After his presidency, Jimmy had an interesting retirement. He first went back to Plains, Georgia. There he made furniture and gifts at the gift